Alright, so I'm shooting this real quick video with not a lot of hubbub. Um, had a friend and a listener ask me a question. He sent me a message and said that with his new house, he actually got a little push mower. But when he went to fill the push mower with gas, it started running out of the intake. So he texted me a question. I tried to give him an answer, but I wanted to shoot this video just so he knows and he's clear, and all of you can benefit from the knowledge as well. I think that I probably need to do a video on small engine repair, but you can find that stuff just about anywhere. So we're going to just cover this one individual issue. So there's two common things that can cause um, on a small engine that can cause fuel to run out of a carburetor. The first one is it could be a bad carb gasket, or the throttle linkage could be stuck open. So I guess there's three. For me, I haven't experienced the first two very often. What I have experienced is a stuck valve on a float. So the carburetor has a needle valve that seats inside of a hole, and it's got an attachment to the arm on the float. So I have a carburetor here that's taken apart, and this one's actually dirty so that I can show you guys what it looks like when that valve is stuck open. So you take off your bowl, right? This just comes off the bottom. You normally have a gasket seal right there. So when a stuck open float valve, let's see if I can zoom in here. When a stuck open float valve is in its stuck position, the piece, see if I can get this to focus. The piece right here, this shiny brass piece right here, will get stuck, and when the float goes down, right, as the bowl fills up, that float, when it's empty, will fall down by gravity. So as the float fills up with gasoline, or the bowl that I showed you guys, when that bowl fills up with gasoline, it makes that float stick up, and that actually allows the head of this needle right here, and I'll take it apart and show you guys later. The head of this needle right here goes into a hole that restricts flow of gasoline into the carburetor. Now, what does it look like? Move that patch out of the way. What does it look like when this gets stuck? Well, turn this here so you guys can get a better view on this. And I apologize for the shakiness of my hands. It's hard when I don't have my arms braced against anything. So right now, this bowl is all the way down as if the carburetor was empty. This carburetor is also stuck open. So what happens is, when the bowl fills up with gasoline, that needle does not go in. So when the bowl fills up with gasoline, this float is supposed to push up and actually push that pin right there, push that pin down. So you see it stuck open in the up position. When it's closed, it'll be down, and it'll be seated in the hole that it's supposed to be in. So as you can see, this one is stuck open. Again, this piece right here is not closing when that valve opens and closes. All right, so we pulled our pin right here that float hinges against, or hinges around. So we pulled that piece out. We're going to pull the float. You can see how that needle is shaped. we go. So you can see that this one is pretty gummed up. I'm going to clean it off. All right, so we have that float and that valve. See how it inserts into that hole on the body of the carburetor? So there is a hole at the bottom of that hole, and that is sealed by, if we can get this to focus, that is sealed by the rubber tip on the end of this needle right here. So that is a rubber tip, and this needle passes up and down inside the cavity, and that tip inserts into a hole. The fuel flows through from the tank and shuts off the fuel. Okay, so we have our carb reassembled, and I'm going to give you guys a view of how this is supposed to work. So keep your eye on this piece right here. That's the piece we were just seeing. We've now put our pin back in so that the carb can pivot, or the float can pivot around its pin, and you guys can see how the needle works. So when the float drops, it opens. When the float closes, it pushes it up. So that is actuating. It doesn't move very far, and our spring is a little weak, but that's the spring just inside there. There you go, you can see it. So when working properly, that needle moves up and down with the float, as you see it moving now, where it wasn't moving earlier. So that's what causes fuel to overflow out of a carburetor. This has been an IKC production.